we're at Lake Bixoma and we're going to be sampling for zebra mussel veligers, which is their larval stage. We historically have not had zebra mussels in Lake Bixoma, so today we're going to see if they do have them. Zebra mussel, it's an invasive mussel. They first came to the United States. They showed up in the Great Lakes, but they first came in the late 1980s. And then 5 years after that, they showed up in Oklahoma. So they traveled a great distance in a pretty short amount of time. They are super invasive. They attach to anything that's hard. So it can be rocks, docks, they can attach to pipes. They can also attach to anything within your boat motor. So super, super invasive. They also compete with our native mussels that we want. And while folks think that they help keep the water clean, they're actually depleting the nutrients within the water. So definitely not ideal to have in any of our lakes. But they're also very destructive and cause a lot of issues for us. So our water intake pipes, if they are showing up in any water supply lakes, they can get within those pipes and start to slow down the water flow through those pipes, and then eventually those are going to have to get cleaned out, which is very costly. Like I said, they can get within your boat motors, and that is definitely not cheap to have to get cleaned out as well. So whenever we first start sampling, we tend to get a water quality reading, so that will collect temperature data. It'll collect dissolved oxygen within the water, as well as pH and the salinity of the water as well. So when I go to collect the water quality data, I wrap my sonde around so I don't lose it, and drop it down in the water to where all the probes are in there, and I'll let this set and stabilize, and we'll collect the data off of it towards the end of our sample. An invasive species, it's harmful in some way, shape, or form, whether that's to the organisms that are out in the wild or to even us. They can cause any sort of, ecological, societal, or economic impact. Zebra mussels, for example, are kind of hitting on all those categories. So definitely competing with our native species, and then also impacting user groups for different bodies of water. And then they're definitely expensive. Once they do kind of get established in bodies of water, they're very expensive to manage and control in a way. Now we're gonna measure the Secchi depth, which when you measure this, you need to do it in a shadow. So I'm gonna use my own shadow here, and this will give some insight onto the turbidity of the water. So this lake's pretty clear, so we can see it's still going down. And you do this until you can't see the black and white anymore. So I can't see it anymore right there. So I'll pull it up. So this is right around 1.75 meters. Over the past several years, we've been going around to historically clean lakes and trying to detect them as early as we can by sampling for their young as they are free floating. You can walk shorelines and flip rocks and try to look for adults or even smaller adults that have attached, but it's a lot easier to get them while they're free floating and get them in a net. So this is a plankton tow net, which we'll use to collect the zebra mussel veligers if they are present. So it's a pretty fine mesh net. It actually feels like cloth. And we actually number each net. So this is net 15. So when you're sampling multiple lakes in a season, you keep track of each net, because we don't have a net for every single lake. So kind of helps keep track if there's any sort of cross-contaminating potentially going on with your sampling. So when we sample, we generally do a vertical tow. So we'll drop it all the way down to the bottom, and then we'll do a horizontal tow as well. This super fine mesh net, it'll allow for us to filter out a lot of the particles within the water. You're getting a lot finer concentrate by using the net instead of just getting a water sample. Looks like it was about 4 meters deep right there. And I'll kind of do this to rinse down to the bottom of the net everything that was collected. So you can see up here there's a little bit of stuff that's kind of accumulated, so we'll just kind of rinse it down to the bottom and let some of that water drip out so we don't have as much water per sample. And then we'll just undo this, let our sample go in, and rinse a little bit more. And that's it. Once we get our sample, we'll send them into a lab, and it can take a few weeks for us to find out if they do have them or not. But if they do, we are quick to notify the public and get signs out explaining what we'd like you to do. And if not, then we'll just keep it on our rotation to sample again. There are a few different ways to check to see if a body of water that you're planning on going to does have them. You can check our website. We try to keep an updated list on our website of what lakes have what invasive species. Once they're in a body of water, we just ask that you do your part, clean out your boat, let it dry for 5 days, pressure wash it with very hot water to kill those mussels if you intend to go to a different body of water. Like I said, once they're here, they're here. So if you are moving bodies of water, just please don't take them with you. Contain, that's what we need.